Hey everybody, just wanted to hop on real quick and tell a quick story. So one of my sons, he turned 7 today. And so we decided to go to Target and get him a toy or whatever he wanted to pick. He ended up picking a book and a toy and some candy or something like that for his birthday. Cool. Just your typical trip to Target. No, I don't wear a mask, but I wear my peace shirt so people know I come in peace. It just makes me feel better when I wear things that represent peace and love when I go out into public without a mask, because I'm not doing it to ruffle people's feathers. I'm doing it to remain sovereign. You already know the deal with that. It's not because we don't care about people. It's because we do care about people. And literally your human rights are going to be taken away little by little if you continue to consent to things that aren't of the highest good. Okay? And if you've done even the slightest bit of research about what's going on right now, you know masks aren't helping you or anyone else, and you're just doing it because you want to avoid that confrontation. Like when you go into a public place, I totally get that. If someone says they won't serve me because I don't wear a mask, I'll just leave, you know. But my thing is just the vibes it sends between people. All it does is divide us even more. Whatever. Anyways, usually at Target, they'll be like, hey, do you have a mask? Or they just say, hey, do you have a mask? And I say I'm medically exempt. They're like, okay, cool. And I'm like, thanks. And I'm really cool. And they're really cool. And it's not a big deal. I'm in Pennsylvania. I don't know how it is where everybody else is, but not a big deal. So anyways, I go in there with my peace shirt on and no mask and smiling at everybody because that's just how I am. All of a sudden, at the end, we go to checkout. We go to self-checkout. And there's this, like, he almost looked homeless, but I don't think he was homeless because he had she was either in her early 20s or late teens, and she was like helping him, and he was in like one of those, motorized things that you can take around the store or whatever. And he's going to check out, and he's having a problem with his payment. So he gets on the phone, and he's very loud, talking about money being on the card or something like that. So then I told my son, I was like, Miles, let's go over here and ask them if they need help. So I go over and I ask if they need help. And she's like, no, he does have the money. It's having an issue with something. And I was like, okay, I'm willing to help. But like, she said everything was okay. So whatever, Then we go to leave, and I'm just like noticing people on our way out. And one of the people that I noticed was like your typical like mom that constantly goes to Target and totally fucking judges people all the time, is very stuck up, acting like this guy is inconveniencing her by being loud. And, he's just like, it was just like such a reflection of what the problem is with society. And that is like, for me, when I see somebody like that, it makes me want to go ask them if they need help. It makes me want to get out my freaking credit card and pay for their bill or whatever I have to do to help, right? And then I see the same exact people who I'm worried about judging me because I'm not wearing a mask. I don't want them to think that I'm coming at them about not wearing a mask. It has nothing to do with that. It's not a political thing. It's not about taking sides. It's not about division. It's about sovereignty. And that same type of people are the people that I walk through the store without a mask on. I'm like, oh, in their head, they're throwing hatred and low vibes towards me because they're judging me and they see me as like the enemy, right? And it's the same freaking people that act so inconvenienced by this, like, guy who obviously has mental health issues, who needed help, totally inconvenienced. She wasn't standing behind him in line or anything. She was across the way getting her Starbucks in the front of Target. And her kids with their little fucking masks on are all looking at this guy like he's just a crazy person. And I take my kid, this is what you do when you want to set an example to your children. Take him by the hand and say, hey, let's go see if this person needs our help. And like when I left the store, I just started freaking crying. And part of the reason, probably because it's a full moon, I get super sensitive around the full moon. I'm like crazy empath. But it was just like, it just made me realize like how many freaking people are like that and how empty you must feel that your day is inconvenienced by somebody else in need. because you're so fucking consumed with your own self and your own material things and buying your freaking Starbucks and posting your little picture of your perfect home and your perfect family, but you have zero connection with your freaking spouse. You don't even have connection with source in order to love yourself, in order to have the capacity to love another person. So you're probably a shitty parent, teaching your kid shitty judgmental ways of living, telling them that the only thing that matters is they get into this Ivy League school so they can make a bunch of fucking money and then grow up to judge other people and ask them, what do you do for a living? And the first thing that you're going to ask somebody so you can decide how you're going to treat them in terms of the hierarchical way of respect to give somebody, as if the more quote unquote successful you are, and that means society's version of success, that's the amount of level of respect I'm going to give you. It was weird. This also triggers something in my mind. When I lived in California, when I described to people why I felt weird vibes in California, it was this. I felt like there were a lot of really nice people in California. But I'm not saying everybody like this was because there's a lot of great people in California. There's so many people there. But there is a certain vibe there. It's not just a materialistic vibe. It goes beyond that. It's like, I'm being nice to you because you could possibly be a connection and help me somehow in the future. It's like this weird, like, lack of genuineness that I got. And maybe it's just because I was running with a certain, like, I was there because my ex-husband's family is from there. So it was a certain group of people that believe in certain types of things and act in certain types of ways that don't resonate with the way that I was raised or my, personal beliefs. And it gave me this kind of bad taste in my mouth about that area. But that's like the capital of fucking the cabal and shit. In all these underground fucking bases and all that. But it's just like, think about Hollywood, all the shit that is there. And it's like, when I went there, as soon as I got there, I couldn't wait to leave. I was there for like a year and a half, almost 2 years. And the entire time, everybody was like, how do you like California? Because I was from the East Coast. And I was like, I don't. Like, I don't. And I would always use the excuse as it's like ugly and desert, and like the only thing that's pretty is the mountains, and then if you're right on the coast, the ocean. Like, that was all I could like get out of it, because I like Big Bear and all that kind of stuff. But it was just like, it left such a bad taste in my mouth. And it's the same type of freaking people that I saw this lady at Target today. Brought that back, that nasty taste back into my mouth. Like, if there's nothing in it for me, then I'm not interested in helping anybody. That was the vibe it was. And it's just like, people need to realize the reason the issues are going on in this world is because we're perpetuating vibrational frequencies or at the level of that. Self-serving. That is service to self vibration right there. And it's the same people that think they're holier than thou, that they're better than everybody else. And it's like, you're the problem. You're a huge part of the reason why everyone's stuck right now. Because even a lot of people who are like, oh my gosh, they're seeing the truth, they're seeing it come out, they're afraid to even say shit because of people like that, judging them or saying something or coming at them like, oh, I went to fucking college and I studied this stuff. Guess what? Your fucking universities are corrupt too. I know, because I went to one and I became an atheist and I believed all these stupid things because I was brainwashed. And then I fucking started looking for the truth for myself. And when I found it, I was like, wow, it's cognitive dissonance at its finest. It's like, they're so programmed to believe that they are like the cream of the crop, that like they couldn't even consider somebody's opinion that didn't agree with their own. It's like, don't try to debate these people. You're like wasting your time. When it's time for them to come into the truth and what is meant for them, they will. But trust me, you don't want to get sucked down into lower vibrational energies for the sake of just getting the truth off your chest, because you're not going to get anywhere with it. You get much farther, like, doing what I started to do a couple years ago and just pulling out your phone, saying, like, pouring your heart out and saying how you feel and venting, and then just posting that shit. And whoever's going to watch it and whoever's meant to watch it will watch it. And I'm not saying everybody has to be a YouTube creator or make videos. The last thing in the world I thought I would be is somebody who makes videos. I was that person who hated being up in front of people and hated doing presentations in college and in high school and all that. The only time I didn't mind being in front of people is if I was playing basketball. I played up into college, and why is that? Because I was connected. I was in flow. Any athlete who really was into and passionate about their sport, they know what that is. An artist, they know what that feels like, that connection, right? So it surprised me that Source would even bring me on here to share my opinions. Because at the end of the day, I don't really dig interacting with people like that. I'm like an insane introvert. But I have a lot of shit to say. And it feels good to get it out. So if you're an introvert and you think, oh, I could never get on camera and like say how I feel or express myself, please like just try it. Maybe you don't even have to post a video. Maybe just like make a video of yourself just talking, and you can watch it back for yourself, and just it shows you things about you. It's weird. When I started, at first I was like, ooh, it feels weird to be like talking to myself into the camera, right? And I was like, I can just make the video, I don't have to post it, whatever, you know. And then it was like the more I did it, the more confident I became in myself, and the more I was like, like I noticed that like people on my YouTube and everything, they appreciated when I was just like off the cuff, just being real and just going off on my little rants. Why? Because it's like when you go off on a rant, it's like you're saying all the shit everybody's thinking and everybody wants to say, and everybody wants to just be like, yes, 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 I feel that way too. And right now more than ever, we need that. We need people to be like relating to us, because right now it just feels like, in a way, especially after the fucking debate, I felt this way, because it was such a shit show. It was such a shit show. It was so hard to watch. It's like, come on, dude. Do we have no public speaking skills whatsoever? Like, I don't like speaking in front of people, but I can, like, come on. But anyways, I felt like disheartened a little bit after that, because I was like, what is going on? And then today they're saying Trump and his wife have COVID. To me, there's something behind that. First of all, I hope that he takes the, hydroxychloroquine or whatever it's called, and like can say from firsthand experience that it works, you know. That's something that would be positive from it. Also, now I don't know how true this is, but I'll listen to Q drops every once in a while, and I heard somebody mention, like, obviously people have attempted to assassinate Trump. Come on, why wouldn't they? This is the cabal going down. Like, they're gonna try everything. So he has a pretty serious security. But anyways, one of the Q drops mentioned something about there was like some perfume and it had some type of like chemical or something in it, and like they were gonna give it to Trump's wife, and she didn't end up taking it, but somebody else had put some of it on them and are like in serious condition because of some chemical. But anyway, so the point of the matter is like, for me, when they say, oh, Trump has COVID, this is what I think. Does Trump need a fucking break? That would be a great excuse to have just a break. Or is he working on something where he has to be so, you know, in on it that he can't like be out doing all this press and all that? He needs to focus on doing something right now. Or I have so many theories. Or maybe, you know, he isn't well, and it's a good excuse for him to say it's COVID, even if it wasn't, you know what I mean? And just, who knows? Like, for me, I'm not going to marry any idea. Like, I'm open to see whatever unfolds, and I know that whatever does unfold is what is meant to. And that's what's given me peace through this whole freaking thing, is that no matter what happens, that's the way spirit and the universe wanted it to happen, in order for everyone to learn their lessons and for everything to play out. And at the end of the day, whether Trump wins or Biden wins, this new earth is rolling out. This 5D timeline is rolling out. Not everybody might not be on that timeline, but it's rolling out regardless. It just stalls it. All it does is say, well, Biden wins. All it does is stall that. But it's coming regardless. So I feel at peace with that. walk around with my peace shirt on so people just can just chill out a little bit. But anyways, I know I'm like freaking on one, man. I was not going to make a video today, but I'm just like, what the hell is going on? I feel like it's just chaos, and like nobody knows. Nobody knows what the next move is. Nobody knows what's going to happen next. And all you can do is sit back and let things unfold on a moment-to-moment basis like we're supposed to be doing in our own lives, and take accountability and be that example, that light that other people need to see, that other people need to experience that vibration, so they say, oh wow, like that is possible for me. Like, people don't realize when I say, like, in every moment there's something you can do for the collective, and that is feel is absolutely as good as you possibly can. So sitting and sinking your teeth into a bunch of low vibrational 3D bullshit that's going on in the world right now probably is not going to help. Like, as much as it's hard not to sit there and get sucked in, I get sucked in. Like, I was a history major. I will consume information like all day. I'll stay up late. That's just like how I am. I want to know the history. I want to know every little freaking detail. I started watching Charlie Freak's videos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to get like a notebook out and just start taking notes, because he breaks down the symbolism and the numerology and the astrology, and he just brings it all fucking together. And it's a lot. Like, if you watch one, it's like you got to watch it a few times, and then that shit's like a couple hours long, and it's so much. And then I'm like, I homeschool my kids. So I'm like, I look at the things that we teach, that we learned in school, right? And then I'm like, I can't teach my kids this stuff. I can't teach my kids that Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492 and all that bullshit. Like, I can't do it. I got to teach them truth. I got to teach them, like, if like, this is the thing. Like, this is my thing about, like, having kids in church. That's fine. You want to take a kid to church? Fine. He wants to learn about Christianity or whatever it is. But then teach them about all the other religions. And then they can, like, put all the pieces of the puzzle together. And then, like, break shit down. I'm telling you guys, like, everything is about to change. I think we're just going to be like this. We're going to morph into this community-based society. Like, a ton of small communities. And I've said this like over a year ago. I was talking about this. I was even talking about this when in my polyamory type videos. And no, I don't think that that's what's about to go down. Just so you guys know, this isn't like, did you guys ever see that Netflix documentary about that, what the heck was it called? It was like that guru who made that huge community out in Oregon, out in the sticks. I can't remember what it's called. It was really good though. Like, it was like a docu-series. And it had maybe like 10 episodes or something like that. But yeah, that was crazy. And they had a lot of really smart people involved. It looked like a hippie commune, but it was like with scientists and all this shit, and it ended up getting corrupt. But the way it breaks down, it's so funny because it kind of reminds me of like how everything's breaking down in the world right now. It's just like there's always a few corrupt people that just gotta ruin it for everyone, because not everyone has bad intentions. Just like all these people that are like have their heads so far in the fucking sand that they're pro Biden because they believe that Black lives truly matter and that it's a civil rights movement and that they're doing something positive. It's just like, because they don't realize it's infiltrated, it's demonic, and they're using these innocent souls, and they're just like, oh my gosh, it's just tough. It's tough to watch this shit all unfold. I don't even remember the point I was trying to make. But at the end of the day, it's keep your vibe high. Do the right thing. Like, you know what's right. You know what's right. That's like for me, like sometimes I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll just wear the mask down here or wear the mask here. Then once I get in the store, I'll pull it down to here. And I'm like, fuck all that. I'm so sick of this. Like, no, this is wrong. Like, all this shit is wrong. It's about to get crazier because they're supposed to have another lockdown, blah, blah, blah. I'm just so, like, Can we get to the grand finale so we can just move on and like not talk about this shit, forget it even happened? Just be like, hey, remember when that COVID shit? Yeah. That shit was weird. What were you doing? Oh, nope, just sending funny memes to each other? Yeah, me too. Like, it's like, in a weird way, the only way all this has really affected me is psychologically. Because honestly, I mean, I haven't been physically affected by it. And I know people have. But at the end of the day, all it does is mess with your mental. My life hasn't changed that much. I'm still doing the same stuff. My kids I keep them home now. I homeschool them. But I had homeschooled my son before, so it wasn't like this big thing. I already had half the curriculum I needed and was fully prepared and researched, and I did that years ago. So it wasn't a big deal. Like, it's the psychological shit that messes with people. It really is. And now I just feel like I'm babbling on and on. I got really fucking emotional about that issue in Target today, though, because it was just like, it was the same type of people that I was worried about judging me for not having a mask that was like, fuck that guy who needs help. And I was just like, it's these fucking motherfuckers. I'm sorry. I'm a cursor. I'm not really sorry, because I feel like cursing, it can be such a beautiful thing, because it's all about intention, right? I'm just going to go off on my defending cursing rant. So if you use the F word, like I effing can't stand you, that's terrible. You should never use the F word in that way. But I'll look at Lance and I'll be like, I fucking love you. And I was like, you like me using the word fucking then, didn't you? He's like, yes. He's kind of conservative. He doesn't really curse that much. His dad is the pastor and all that. So, but it's funny. He got put with me. But yeah. So cursing can really add some like intense emotion on something positive too. So everything is intention. You can't convince me that cursing is bad. You never will. But anyways, I guess it's good not to offend people and lower their vibration. But that sounds like their problem, not mine, right? Alright guys, I'm getting off here because I pretty much babbled, and I hope I didn't waste your time with this video. But I want you to know, like, don't feel lonely. Don't be afraid to just express yourself, and fuck what people think. What feels good on the inside. Use discernment. Feel like, does what this person's saying feel good to me? Does whatever it is, you can insert the situation. Does this feel right? Insert the information. Does this feel right? And just know, you don't have to consent to shit. You don't have to vaccinate. You don't have to send your kids to school. You don't have to do shit. If they don't want to serve you at their store because you don't have a mask on, well then go to a different store. Like, there's ways around giving away your power, not being sovereign. You can be sovereign. You can be sovereign with all this stuff going on. And it doesn't have to be scary. It can feel a little lonely, but just know, like, there's new communities out there too. I see people getting on new social media platforms. I just joined one. I can't remember the fuck name of it was. I don't know. But some truthers and stuff are joining it. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to join. And maybe we can get a ton of people off of Facebook and off of all these platforms that don't support freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and they're trying to censor the truth. It's funny, like, that's what what's his name, Charlie Ward said. He's like, it's funny, like, no, they never had fact checkers until the truth came out. Now all of a sudden there's fact checkers. It's like so funny, because the same people who own all those companies who are fact checking are the ones who don't want the truth out. And it's like, how do people not see this shit? How do people not see it? But anyways, I love you guys, and I will be back soon.